We begin back where we died, just about to enter the lair of the human centipedes. Now, you do have to be careful here. There are many enemies about. So keep your eyes peeled for treasure and don't lose your head. Or heads, as the case may be, and I think you'll be alright. Centipedes won't, though. But they will drop some more mercury stones. I believe I have almost enough now to finish off upgrading my mercury rapier. That said, we aren't going to need another rapier type weapon, because we're about to pick one up here that should help us out for the rest of the game. Well, I mean, it's not going to be better than the Crescent Falchion or the Large Sword of Moonlight, but it is a useful third option, or when going up against enemies that you need to use parry attacks against, of which there is at least one notable one, or enemies that are weak to fire. And actually just so happens that the remaining enemy that I'm thinking of that you need to parry is also weak against fire. So this épée rapier that we just picked up is perfect for that boss. Well, mini-boss. Well, I mean, I guess it's kind of the real boss, but you'll see when we get there. The point is, this thing is very useful for when we get there. It could use some upgrades, though. So I do think that some of my colorless demon souls will go to this. It hurts that I'm not putting that many points into dexterity, but I do think some upgrades will take care of the damage output on the physical end. Alright, we're finished there, so now we need to go all the way back up. Remember where we took a bridge over to the first tower? Well, if we go past there, we find that along with the heart falling, a new staircase has descended. And on it there are some friends, shall we say. But first, a very helpful message tells us that there is a well-hidden treasure behind the stairs. Alright, so there are two enemies on the way. They're both the same kind of enemy. And they're actually very unpleasant. Because of the geography we're on, you have to be very careful when you're trying to dodge the attacks of these Black Phantom Mind Flayers. You don't want to get hit because it'll kill you instantly. And you don't want to roll to the right, because there's no bar or anything stopping you from flying straight off. If you keep those two things in mind, you should be alright, as long as you don't get too close as well. So 3 things: don't get close, don't dodge, don't die. Not too tall an order, right? I also noticed a message back there that asked for friends. This upcoming boss is one that people like to do co-op with. And that's because it is a boss that likes to do co-op against you. And I suppose I was wrong about the number of enemies. You know, for some reason, I always think that there are 2 of those Black Phantom Mind Flayers, but I guess it's just 2 total in the stage, with the other one being back down in the swamp. Okay, so the boss is just a little bit away, but it is a difficult one, so it might be worth a practice run. And the best way to practice, of course, is to help somebody else beat the boss. Like that person, or whoever put down that sign. So I'll just go ahead and use my Blue Eye Stone, or rather I would if I could. If you're too close to a fog gate, then you cannot use your Blue Eye Stone. I'm not exactly certain why that is, or how close you have to be for that effect to be in play. It probably has something to do with the netcode, and not wanting to, I don't know, waste resources on somebody that's going through the fog door at the same time they're being summoned. Maybe that just screws things up in other people's games, and it isn't a resource issue. I honestly do not know. But after I pick up these 8 old spices, which is incredibly useful, it's a great treasure to find, since I'm going to need all the magic I can get to take these guys on, I will go ahead and see if I can find some space to put down my summon sign. How about... here should be good. And now we wait. Now after we put down the sign, it doesn't matter how close we get to the gate as long as we don't go through it. And there we go. We're being summoned. Ah, but something's gone a little strange. Normally you're summoned as a blue phantom by your blue eye stone, but in this case, only in the Tower of Latria, more often here and in the next part of the stage than in other parts. No matter what sort of summon sign you throw down, or if you try to perform an invasion, this might happen. Any attempt at online play anywhere in the Tower of Latria has a chance, albeit small, to result in you becoming the final boss of the world. This is the old monk fight. That's what I'll be called when IG 08557 gets here. But the old monk was that guy that we saw during the cutscene. He summons you here and then possesses you with his crazy-ass hat. And as a result, as you can see, my life bar is not just full, it's also larger than it normally would be. And there are also some other interesting perks to it as well that you'll be sure to see. This is, in my opinion, it's the best idea anybody has ever had in terms of online play in a game. Becoming the boss of a world for somebody else is just, I mean, it's brilliant. It's amazing that it either A, took so long for somebody to think of it, or B, took so long for somebody to find a way to implement it in a way that makes sense. There are people of two minds when it comes to this fight. One set thinks that whoever gets summoned here should just lay down and die. The other set, which I belong to, says that you should relish the opportunity to be a Demon Souls boss and just kick the ever-living shit out of whoever summons you. And in my case, the same applies vice versa. I expect people to try to kill me as best as they possibly can, and I will be equipped accordingly when I get to this fight. But for now, it seems that our challenger is beginning to approach. Usually takes about 2 or 3 minutes for them to get here. You have to go up another long spiral staircase, and there's some enemies, and there's a crystal lizard. And you can see him fighting them out there. Or her. Could be a her. I don't know. But we'll just... I mean, it gives you the full boss experience. You even have to sit here and wait while the other player comes to get you. It's really the entire package, complete with multiple forms. And, you know, special powers that don't unlock until you've taken a certain amount of damage. It's just really, really cool. And it seems like our friend is just about here. Or our non-friend, as the case may be. Aha! Welcome! Let's see. What have we got? Oh dear, okay, we've got fireballs. Alright. Looks like somebody has finished Stonefang Tunnel. And I see an Adjudicator Shield. And what appears to be... MP regeneration? Oh, for a second there I thought I had him. But, he healed. Now, as you might be noticing here, there are little orbs of energy forming around me sometimes, and firing off at our opponent. That is basically its homing Soul Ray. It is, in my opinion, the best of the Soul Ray spells. It's incredibly devastating, and for this encounter, the number of orbs that appear is based on how low your health is. So once you get down to between, I think, half and a quarter, you start shooting 5 orbs total, which, if all of them hit, is going to be enough to kill my opponent easily. As it stands, he's chosen a very defensive strategy with the Adjudicator Shield to get some HP regeneration. That's probably what the glow is, HP, not MP. But I brought the large Sword of Moonlight, which means that his shield doesn't mean anything to me. If I can get close and two-hand it, I can just cut straight through it and kill him. Problem, because of the way I'm built, I don't have enough endurance to just lock him up and take him out. Then again, he hasn't got enough power to kill me off in one hit either, and it doesn't even look like he brought a melee weapon. He seems to be relying entirely on his magic. Since I have both methods of attack, in addition to my powers as the boss, I'm fairly confident that I'm going to win eventually. This fight can be long and dragged out when both players are trying really hard. And you always have to watch out for bizarre lag issues like a fireball being flung into nowhere and hitting you anyways. I've never been certain for, how... Well, see, there you go. There's a Soul Ray that clearly missed and still did damage. Probably hit on his screen, though. And since he's the host, my suspicion is that what he sees counts as reality. Now, the smart thing he's doing to avoid the finishing blow from the Soul Rays is dodging to the side. If I can get him to dodge backwards with my large Sword of Moonlight's overhead two-handed swing, then what I can do, there we go, he started to dodge backwards. Now, if I can keep that up and get him to think that I'm always going to come at him with the large Sword of Moonlight, I can hit him once, and then fling a bunch of Soul Rays at him while he's trying to retreat. And because he's rolling backwards, the Soul Rays will still hit him, he won't get out of the way, and that will lead to a victory. The question is, can I get close enough to sell him on this without getting shot up myself? I've completely abandoned my shield at this point, and I think that's the correct move. Of course, I have to do the correct move and remember which button is the overhead swing. Getting there. Okay, he's going back. But I hit the button too many times to take advantage. It would also help if I could get my HP a little lower without being in danger of dying. There we go. Of course, if I could just get one more hit in, or maybe not. I wish I had more endurance, I really, really do. As long as I can stay close and keep that sword in his line of sight, he's just going to back up instead of rolling to the side. I could really use some of those homing soul rays right now, actually. And the key is not to just mash the button. Ideally what I want to do is get 2 swings in, and then fire soul rays. And he just failed to block the full wrath of the homing soul ray. But he still survived. That's brutal. He must have a lot of HP. Close to 1,000 it seems. But he rolled right into my soul rays. And is vanquished. And our reward is the cool hat we got. This hat is actually vital to the build that I'm going for, which is to max out my magic power, minimize my magic defense, and just generally wreck things. So, you do get your body back for winning the fight in that way, and I went and deposited it in another world that I'm intending to lower the world tendency of. And so we're on to the boss, the Man-Eater. As you can see, with all of our magic buffs in play, I do about 350 damage to the Man-Eater for each soul ray. You might notice that it's a gargoyle. In fact, this boss was the model for the bell gargoyles that gave so many people so many fits in Dark Souls. Of course, these ones can fly off of the level, like Moonlight Butterfly, and fire magic at you, which makes them even more difficult. Of course, I have magic myself, and it's insanely powerful. So this guy's toast. In fact, I almost killed him before the second one showed up. And just like in Dark Souls, the second one is weaker than the first. Although he has attacks that are stronger. And he comes up from behind. There's no announcement. Of course, that said, while he sits there and charges up, I can hit him for 500 a pop with my soul rays, thanks to a combination of the Ring of Magical Sharpness and the Monk's Head Wrappings. Now, if I'm doing that now, imagine what a soul ray will be like when I also get a fully upgraded Crisp Blade. And that does it for the Man-Eaters. They're kind of a pushover when your magic does an obscene amount of damage. You didn't even need to, well, I didn't even need to dodge so much. I kind of just tanked all the hits and didn't care. That is how powerful we're aiming to be by the end of the game. By the end of the game, I want to do that to the final boss. Or perhaps just kill him before he gets a chance to do anything. Of course, plenty of helpful messages. If you were to fight this guy in melee, you would want to get him towards the fire in the center, which has the greatest amount of space for you to walk around in without just falling off. And it also has the greatest amount of light, so you can see what the hell you're doing. Anyways, that is it for this world for now. There's one stage left, but we've already seen how it ends. Sort of. And we'll pick it up in the castle next time.